Alrighty, non-Western philosophy discussion 2, week 2, question 1. Do we have a need for sages or magicians in our culture, and why? So, sage philosophy is the project of the preservation for knowledge of indigenous thinkers created by Kenyan philosopher Henry Okura. So, sage philosophy, to begin, is the in-depth analysis of questionable, widespread themes of large life concept. So these themes mainly being milestones, things that we don't necessarily ponder on the daily basis, things that we choose to not ponder on the daily basis, so we don't really have to wrap our head around these ideas. However, when it comes to philosophy, philosophy is all about being uncomfortable with your thought. Not necessarily uncomfortable, but expansion of the mind. So this thought process, they're often milestones, they're unfathomable thoughts, such as very large supreme ideas. So when we think of large supreme ideas, what is life? How did we come? Did we come from a big bang? Is there such thing as God? So these are kind of what sage thinkers, sage philosophy gets into. They get into very extreme, in-depth thought that requires a lot of tension, a lot of back and forth, a lot of education, a lot of research overall. So this, like I said, once again, this is what does it mean to be truly free as a human? Death, the afterlife, and largely sought after questions. So there's many, many more for a sage philosophy. So it's largely defined as, in the PowerPoint, the thoughts of wise men and women and the way of thinking behind the fluctuation of popular and dyadic wisdom. So Okura's goal for sage philosophy, is to disprove or find fault in previous philosophical claims. So not only are we going to the extreme of very high thought, high concept ideas, but we're also disproving other philosophy that wasn't really built upon. So African sages do not engage in philosophical thought. That's going to be number 1 that we're disproving. Number 2, African sages are oral only, therefore their philosophy is only by word of mouth, such as going back to the Suran. However, the philosophical stages are quite literal instead. So these are the things that are actually written down back when it comes to Northern and Suran philosophy. And number 3, African sages require tradition. So these are the 3 main points that through sage philosophy Okura was trying to contradict. So there is a need for sages in our culture, and this is due to realism. Philosophy you can get high on thought almost, and sages, or to me known as realists, can bring one down and level head. It'll balance out your equilibrium and it'll keep you straight. Because philosophy can kind of get you teetering, and it kind of make your brain blow up a little bit. So I feel that Western philosophy is hesitant to seek enlightenment because it simply does not want an answer. Overall, isn't philosophy extravagant thought? With answers, explanations, and enlightenment, we would not have that thought, therefore, no philosophy. That is why I believe current modern-day philosophy, Western philosophy, does not want enlightenment. Therefore, there would be no philosophy with enlightenment.